everybody, I'm glad you're here today. Today is February 23rd, 2024. This is a red alert video. If yesterday is not setting off alarm bells inside of you, I don't know what will. Yesterday, our whole infrastructure of our cell phone, our major companies, cell phone companies, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile were under a cyber attack. Now, I don't know what the narrative is going to be with the mainstream media, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me what they say. Whatever the experts say, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. I believe it was a cyber attack. What do you think? I want to hear. I want us to connect as best we can on this channel while we still can. Y'all, I think it's only a matter of time before this could be the last video I get to do, because it could all crash in this afternoon or in the next hour. That's where we're at right now. That's how fragile things are, in my opinion, or how designed things are. That's the plan, whatever it is. So tell me, what did you experience yesterday? What do you think is coming? Who do you think is behind this? I want to hear everything you think in the comment section below. Also, I'm going to bring you a dream and a word I wrote down when I worshiped this morning. The dream is from my father. It has to do with, I believe it has to do with what happened yesterday. He had this on February 20th, 2024. I'm going to read it to you. Then I'm going to read you a word. And the word is going to be very, very not fun to listen to. It's a warning. It's a warning. It's a dire warning. If you don't know Jesus, now is the time to come to him. He loves you and wants you to believe in him and follow him. That is the only thing that's going to get you through. In this dream, let's talk about this dream right quick. February 20th, 2024 is when my dad had this dream. In this dream, Alaska is prevalent. And I think it has to do with the North Star that's on their flag. All right? Just going to shoot straight with you there. There are also javelinas in this dream, which are native to Texas. I live in the Texas Panhandle. Native to Texas and Mexico and South America. They're like wild pigs. They're horrible. They're mean. So there's javelinas in this. So those are the things that happen in this dream that you might not know what. And there's also the crop maize, which is a grain crop. Okay, that's native to where I live. All right, here's the dream. It goes like this. There were 4 men, and my dad was one of those 4 men, and they went to a fast food place. And in the process of ordering, the people behind the counter, super friendly, super nice. They all knew each other. They were nice to the men. They seemed to know each other. And the people behind the counter said, "Where are y'all going?" And they said, "We're going on a trip to Alaska." And one of the people behind the counter said, "We would like you to send us a postcard from Alaska." And then another person said, "I have never received anything from Alaska." So one of the workers in the fast food place got pieces of paper, and they all wrote their addresses down on separate pieces of paper and handed them to my dad. My dad put it in his pocket. The men left, and they all got on bikes. So the 4 men, including my dad, are now riding on bicycles. Bicycles, 2-wheel bicycles. So as they were riding along, my dad was looking around at how beautiful it was. He was outside, fresh air, crystal clear sky, water, lakes, mountains, gorgeous. And he thought to himself, nothing could interfere with us on this trip. Those were his thoughts. Nothing could interfere with us on this trip. So as they're riding their bicycles, they come along to a family. Now the family were on a 3-wheel bicycle, and the children were riding in a basket. And the family said, "Hey, if y'all want to rest for the night," and there were these big, it was like a forest then. There were these big oak trees that were there, just massive trees. And the family said, "Hey, where are y'all headed to?" And they said, "We're going to Alaska." And the family said, "If you want to spend the night somewhere, go further into the forest, because there's this pit where y'all can spend the night." So they went into the forest, and to their left, they saw this huge pit. When they went into the pit, they discovered there was a huge rattlesnake that was very aggressive. And it was coming after them, and the men were saying, "Step on its head! Someone step on its head!" And so one of the men grabbed the rattlesnake, stepped on it, and then threw it out of the pit. Then suddenly another rattlesnake appeared, and it was right in front of my dad. And the men were saying, "Step on its head, step on its head." But when my dad tried, it rose up like 3 feet, its head, 3 to 4 feet in the air, and it, bearing its fangs, it was trying to bite my dad. Finally, my dad crushed it on its head and threw it out of the pit, and they got out of there super fast. So that is why they did. That was the pit. It was horrible. So then they rode on their bikes out of the forest, and they were into an environment that was like a flat prairie land. And it was a little harder to pedal then. And it was harder to ride the bicycle. And they noticed a bunch of javelinas coming up beside them. And it was like a few at first. And it was babies and females and males. And so they just thought, we got to get out of here. These javelina pigs are mean. That's what my dad hollered at everybody. So they started to pedal as fast as they could, and the javelinas were just like tons of them running along beside them. But finally, as they kept riding, the javelinas thinned out and became less and less, and they felt better because they disappeared. The javelinas went away. So they began to be pedaling on a pavement at this time, and it was easier. It was getting dark. It was becoming nighttime, so the sun was setting. But suddenly, my dad heard this huge explosion to his right. I want to say that's what he said, to his right. He did not see the airplane, but he saw the explosion, and this engine from an airplane came suddenly crashing down right in front of him, so close he could feel the heat from the massive explosion. And the sky, it was just stunning. And then suddenly he could see the debris falling on the road in front of him, burning debris from the crash. And then it was dead bodies that were falling from the sky, burnt, charred, dead bodies just in the path in front of him. Some of them were alive, walking, and they were burnt, begging for help. My dad got off his bike and was walking through all of the dead bodies, the blood, the mud. It was horrible. But he was walking his bike through them, and people asked him for help, but he couldn't help them. I don't know why, but he just couldn't help them. They got past all the debris and all the dead bodies, and they were standing with their bicycles in a field of maize. And then they looked, and there was like a military invasion of men coming at them. It was kind of an army or a police force or some kind of aggressive, armed group of people. And one of the men in the group said, "Get on your bicycles and ride fast. They're coming for us." So they got on, they rode fast, and my dad was having a really hard time pedaling, but he finally got to going, and the men that were invading were shooting at my dad's group, and they actually hit one of the men in my dad's group, and he killed him, and he died. He fell. So they were in the grain field, and they were pedaling. They seemed to be putting some distance between them, and finally felt like they were out of danger. Then the dream changed, and now it was just like a montage of their trip to Alaska, like going by the fields and the lakes and all of those things, the forests, until finally they got to Alaska. And one guy said, "We have to find a post office because we need to mail these postcards back to the workers at the fast food place." And my dad said, "I only have one name left in my pocket. I lost all the other ones." So he had an envelope, and he was trying to write the name down to send, well, like on the postcard, trying to send, it back to the person. He'd only had marks on there. They weren't letters yet. One of the men stood behind my dad and said, write this instead. The first letter, make it into an E. So my dad made the lines to make it an E. And then he said, the next letter, make it an M. So my dad connected the lines and made it an M. Said the next letter, make it an O, which had only been half an O, and my dad drew the other half. And then he said the next letter, make it an X. EMOX. And that was the end of the dream. Now, there's a lot to this dream to interpret. I'm going to hit the high points. Mainly, I think it's a timeline of our lives, of our lives in America, especially people my age and older. This euphoric beginning of seeming to have plenty, that feeling like and having the attitude of nothing can harm us on this trip. Nothing's going to interfere with our lives. That's not true. We've learned that from 2020. So I think this is like a timeline. The North, Alaska, and this is from the Dreamer, so this is what my dad felt. He said, I think it has to do with the flag. That the North Star is on that flag, and if you just stay focused on, if you know where the North Star is, you can always find your way home. You won't be lost. And Jesus is our North Star. Right? I think that's what that means. Stay focused on Him through all of this that's going to happen, that is happening now, that has already begun to happen, y'all. Stay focused on Jesus. And see, that's what they did. They stayed focused and they got through. Why were they on bicycles? And I would ask you to please add your own thoughts to this, because I'm not good at interpreting. I'm okay. I've learned a lot. Y'all have taught me a lot. Tell me what you think here. Why bicycles? Is it because it's under their own power, their own choice? Or is it because it's a grid down situation? There is no other means of transportation? I don't know. I tend to think it has to do with under their own power to get through this, as they stay focused on Alaska, the North Star. That's what I tend to think. Now, the oak tree and the people at the oak tree, I don't know if that means anything. My dad didn't either. But the pit of snakes, and snakes represent lies in dreams. Rattlesnakes are native to Texas, or native to Southwest for sure. But I mean, we're familiar with rattlesnakes. We have them here all the time. So that's not unusual for us. We would never crush a snake with our hand on the head. Never, ever. That's not. I mean, you get a hoe and you chop its head off. That's how we do. That's how we kill snakes around here. So that's an interesting idea about this lies and snakes. But I believe it's a reference to the Lord will give us power to do whatever we need to do to see the truth and battle the lies. Okay. Now they rode when it was getting dark. Oh, okay. The javelinas. All right. The javelinas, I think, might be the illegal immigrants coming up from Mexico that are really a threat to our nation. That's kind of what I think they are. Now, when it was getting darker and darker and darker, which spiritually our world is, y'all. Spiritually, that's what's happening, I believe, in America. As this day was wearing out and coming to an end, that's when this crash came, and it wasn't the airplane he saw crash, it was the engine, which begs the question, what is our engine that keeps us going here in our nation? What is the engine that drives this nation, that keeps us getting up and going? Is it our cell phones? Is it the internet? Is it our electricity? Those are things that come to my mind. What comes to your mind? Now, the dead people, and I think, y'all, the FBI is telling us, the sheriff from Ohio is telling us, y'all, it's not if, it's when a black swan event. I don't know. I think that's what this is referencing. Yesterday nearly felt like it when the phone system went down. I thought, what's next? And really, truly, I'm still I'm still pretty braced and guarded right now. Now, they passed all of the debris. I also thought it was interesting they got off their bikes and walked, which I felt like was a reference to, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Psalms 23. That's what came to my mind. What comes to your mind in that? Now, they got past all that debris. They're in the field of maize, meaning it's not the grain, but the double meaning of maize, like I'm not sure which way to go to get out of this. There's not, I think that's where we'll be after this event happens that the FBI is telling us to get ready for. Many of us, it will be hard to get out. I think when the invasion comes in, whatever this invasion is, spiritual or literal, it's going to be an attack. It's going to be more attacks. And there'll be some of us that fall. But to receive our reward in heaven, that's okay. It's okay. Death has been conquered for us who are believers in Jesus Christ. So, finally, when they get to Alaska, they have arrived. All right? So they're like, however that works in the symbolism. I don't really want to go into that, but mainly because I don't really know. I don't know exactly what all that means. But when they get there, they have to find a post office to send this postcard back to the fast food workers. I'm not clear about that, other than trying to get the message of Christ back. Here is the way home. Trying to help people get direction home. Now, I do not know what EMOX means. I Googled it. You Google it. Find out. I'm not even going to speak because I don't know. I did learn some things that it could stand for, but I don't know. So you tell me, is it a medicine? Is it an antibiotic? Is it short for something? Does EMOX stand for names in our world right now? I don't know. So that was baffling to us. And that's why we're bringing this dream to y'all, because many of you will find elements in this dream that we have missed. And in doing that, it helps all of us. Not only can we share what's going on, what we're seeing in the natural, like literally in our nation. What are you seeing that's sus right now? I know there's a lot of military stuff going on in the skies. What are you seeing? It's not coming on the flight tracker. So share. That's how we're going to get through this. As long as this platform is up, I will try to make these videos and we'll try to connect on this in this way. I don't know what else to do. I'm just a nobody here, y'all. Y'all are, I'm just common every day, just like you. So anyway, let's go on to, this is what I wrote down, February 23rd, 2024. Now, y'all, I love theater. I'm a director in theater. I volunteer. I've done it for 14 years. It's just because I like it. So when the Lord speaks to me in these words, I understand these things. The thing about theater, what you see when all the lights are up are not what you see when the lights are down. So when you walk in and see a stage, when the house lights are up and just without the stage lights and everything, it looks ugly. You see all the flaws. That's why dark theaters are so kind of cool, because it's an illusion. It's all an illusion. And our Lord speaks to us in this way. February 23rd, 2024. The theater you love so much, child, is a great illusion. The audience sits in the darkness, oblivious to the charades backstage. They see not or know not what is behind the fly. They have no knowledge of the ropes, gears, zip ties, gaff tape in the wings and on the stage itself. Safety pins and bobby pins hold costumes and hair hidden from the eye of the audience as they sit in the dark. For the darkness is the theater's partner, allowing director to shine the light only upon what they want to be seen, hiding what is meant to stay hidden. Even when disaster strikes backstage in the shadows, the show must go on. Without even the smallest hint to the viewer, they leave unaware of offstage drama concealed from their sight, hidden from the view, leaving, smiling, laughing, but ignorant, completely and utterly ignorant of what full lights, house lights, reveal the ugliness of the truth of theater. This is what is happening now, my children. The illusion is great. The show goes on until the scrim is lifted, the curtain pulled back for all to see the ugly truth. The actors keep playing, trying desperately to hide it all, but I am showing you, my children, the tragic show on the world's stage. I am the light that shines through, destroying their lies of darkness. Hear me now, my children, for all who will listen. The show is over. The audience will be horrified, for the cast, for the cost of the illusion of this show will be the lives of the blind, deaf, and mute, for they are the souls who refuse to believe in me. Ready yourselves, for the shock waves will soon, very soon, become attacks on your land. Be of sober mind and sound judgment. I will be beside you as the curtain is pulled back, revealing your enemy, crouched in the shadows backstage, eager to pounce. You cannot foresee, nor can you fully grasp the ending of what you know now. But you, my children, know me, and I know you. Nothing can separate you from my love. I am unchanging, I am unending. But know you this day, the end of the show is upon you. Full lights will reveal your threat. Do not wait for a curtain call, for casts and crews of this show will be quaking, hidden away, while the audience will sit wondering what happened to the show. Why is the stage empty? Then suddenly, the final scene will play out. The cruel reality of the enemy will come crashing down on the sleeping souls. The lie they have been watching has now trapped and is now killing. The illusion is now shattered, and the disillusioned cry bitterly, "We did not see this coming." But you, my children, are people of my light. You have watched, and I have lifted the curtain, allowing many to see backstage. I, the Lord, am light. In me is no darkness. The show is over. The theater of your nation is about to crumble. Hold on to me, my dearest children, for nothing can shake my mighty power. Nothing can make me tremble. Love me, love others, pray, prepare. The show is over. And that was the end. Y'all, I'm going to leave all that with you and let you do what you need to do with it. Pray on it, and however the Holy Spirit leads you, please comment and please respond accordingly. Stay safe, America. This is Gina Lima Charlie. I'm out.